releasing 133 billion shillings to the devolved units for the financial year 2020-2021. Of the funds, 120.2 billion shillings was part of the county's equitable share, while 13 billion shillings was a conditional grant. National Treasury CS Ukuriatani, in a statement, expressed optimism that the reopening of the economy and the reversal of the COVID-19 tax relief measures would boost revenue collection and they would clear arrears to the county governments. As at 31st of January 2021, the balances of county governments at the Central Bank of Kenya stood at 34.6 billion shillings. County governments had previously lamented over the financial crisis, which they said had paralyzed crucial county functions, threatening to shut down operations and move to court. For Channel 1 News, I'm Safin Aching Ouma.
Meanwhile, a 51-year-old man in Dia Kirinyaga County has been sentenced to 140 years in jail after he pleaded guilty to defiling and impregnating his two daughters. John Gishera confessed to incest, having impregnated his 14 and 16-year-old daughters. The 16-year-old girl has since delivered, while the 14-year-old is 6 months pregnant.
Gishera stood and listened keenly as Principal Magistrate Anthony Mwishege handed down his judgment.
Further, considering that there were two victims which aggravates the offense, these sentences shall run consecutively. This court further orders that your name be entered in the register of convicted and dangerous sexual offenders.
The 51-year-old man had admitted that he had defiled and impregnated his two daughters. In his defense, Gishera pleaded with the court and his family to forgive him, blaming Satan for tricking him into committing the offense. Meanwhile, Kiambu Senior Principal Magistrate Theresa Nyangena has been suspended over gross misconduct and neglect of work. The suspension comes in the wake of complaints by litigants and lawyers of unnecessary delays by the magistrate to make court rulings. In a show cause later signed by the Acting Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu, the magistrate has been ordered not to report to work until her disciplinary case is determined. Acting Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu has in the meantime pledged to fast-track e-filing system in the judiciary.
We're going to do it in the shortest time possible. Where the problems are internal, we'll deal with them. Where they are external and beyond the control of the judiciary, I think let the blame lie where it must. Let me tell you, one of my priorities, and I've already started, shall be dealing with these challenges in the e-filing because we are not going back.
Mwilu, who toured the Mombasa Law Courts, warned judiciary staff against engaging in malpractice. Meanwhile, Principal Secretary Petroleum and Mining Andrew Kamau appeared in court to testify in the 1.5 billion shillings Kisumu oil jetty scandal. 5 officials of the Kenya Pipeline Company, including former manager Joe Sang, are facing accusations of abuse of office arising from the scandal. Finally, former Laikipia East Member of Parliament Anthony Mutahi has been charged with land fraud. Mutahi, who was released on bond, is accused of stealing a title deed, making a false document, and obtaining land registry by false pretense. For Channel 1 News, I'm Serafina Robbie.
Meanwhile, in Uganda, the African Union has been challenged to intervene in the Uganda elections amid allegations of human rights abuses and blatant violation of democratic principles. A section of human rights groups are faulting the incumbent President Yoweri Museveni's handling of this poll. This comes as vote counting got underway amid heavy police security.
Vote counting kicked off following the closing of the polls in a tense presidential election, pitting long-time President Yoweri Museveni against opposition frontrunner Robert Kyagulanyi. The run-up to Thursday's vote was plagued by the worst political violence in years, with more than 50 people killed amid crackdowns on opposition rallies, as well as the repeated intimidation and arrest of opposition figures. with Uganda denying accreditation to interested parties to observe the election, and the United States and European Union cancelling its diplomatic election observation. Human rights activists are questioning the credibility of the elections.
We feel that the ongoing process is a mockery of the democratic process that ought to be a general election because of what we have seen before, the heavy deployment of the military in a purely civilian process. So we do not understand the role of the military other than protecting the powers that be and subverting the will of the people in the election process.
The African Election Watch raising concern that the African Union did not deploy any election observation mission contrary to its mandate of promoting and deepening democracy and democratic elections on the continent.
We are also worried that whereas the AU through the African Charter on Election, Democracy and Governance is required to have an observer mission in every election, they have not sent anyone.
The activists noting that the complete shutdown of internet and mobile money services compromises key communication spaces and the right to information.
The closure of the internet and the mobile money we see it as a huge violation of not only the right to information, but also freedom of assembly and freedom of association in alternative spaces. And clearly, this has already affected the electoral process because the biometric voter verification kit could not work because there was no internet.
The activists also called upon the US government to address the grave human rights abuses.
We are calling on the President-elect, the Congress and the Senate to take urgent measures to stand with the people and cease immediately the process of funding military operations in Uganda.
76-year-old Museveni is running for a 6th term in office. For Channel 1 News, I'm Emily K. Bade.
Meanwhile, back home, Kenya's coronavirus infection rate continued to hold steady below 5%, even as 138 new infections were recorded from 4,526 samples tested. The latest figures representing a 3% positivity rate. 3 patients, however, succumbed to the virus, while 266 others made full recoveries in the last 24 hours.
The Ministry of Health is reporting a 3.04% positivity rate following the confirmation of 138 new COVID-19 cases on Thursday. Nairobi continued to lead in the number of new infections, with 65 new cases being confirmed in the last 24 hours. Kericho County recorded 23 new cases, Mombasa 10, Makueni 6, Uasin Gishu 6, Nyamira and Kisumu 4 cases each, while Kiambu had 3 cases. According to the latest figures, 266 new recoveries were reported both from hospital and home-based care. The latest number of recoveries brings the total to 81,933. 3 more patients have, however, lost their lives, taking the country's death toll to 1,723. Currently, 680 patients are admitted in various hospitals. Of these, 26 are in the intensive care unit, while 1,730 are being monitored at home. Nancy Okware, Channel 1 News.
Meanwhile, the government says it has employed more teachers to cope with the demand in public schools in line with COVID-19 measures. This comes as over 1,000 expectant girls in Kitui resumed school after the COVID-19 break.
Top government officials continued on a campaign to return all learners in school, with the government spokesman Cyrus Iguna pitching tent in Nakuru, where he spelled out measures by the government to ensure access to education.
Serikali imetoa takriban shilingi bilioni 19.5 kwa kuweza kusaidia kuendeleza shughuli zote za elimu shuleni, lakini pia kusaidia katika hali ya kuhakikisha kwamba kanuni na pamoja na masharti za corona zimezingatiwa shuleni. Barakoa hizi milioni 7.5 kwa shule zote.
Elsewhere, Gender and Social Development Principal Secretary Professor Colette Suda condemned the runaway indiscipline in secondary schools after 2 separate incidents of students attacking tutors in Kisii and Nyamira counties.
That, as I've said, is a criminal act, and that student should face the full force of the law.
In Kitui, over 1,000 expectant girls reported back to school after the long COVID-19 break. Defense PS Dr. Ibrahim Muhammad says those who are in their last trimester will be allowed back to school once they deliver.
We're also, of course, following up the causes of these pregnancies, the people who are involved in this thing. If there's any wrongdoing, any criminality, those people, the chiefs are tracing these people to be able to deal with these men who may have been responsible for those pregnancies.
And schools in Tiati sub-county of Baringo registered a low turnout of boys 2 weeks after schools reopened.
So tumeambia wazee wapunguze hii kimila ingine hii maneno mingi yetu. Sababu wale wako shule warudi wa hiyo kimila ingine ingoje wakati ingine.
It's reported a majority of the boys had undergone circumcision and were yet to report back to school. In Garissa, a tour by 3 principal secretaries to schools revealed a shortage of teachers. Cooperative PS Ali Nur said the government is working to address the problem.
The local principals, working in concert with the county commissioner, the chiefs, the county director of education, the regional director of education, and the whole teaching fraternity are trying to do their best to make sure that every student are actually accounted for, whether they have gone on a transfer to another school or whether they still have not come back.
And the government has assured learners of their health and safety in schools, asking parents who are yet to release their children to school to do so without fear. And in Muranga, 3 PSs lauded special schools for their efforts in reopening of schools.
We have seen almost all the students have reported, maybe 1 or 2 specific cases who may not have reported. And then we have also visited the classrooms, as you have seen. We are quite happy the students are all wearing masks. And at the same time, we realize that the distance, social distance may not be 1 meter as expected, but they are fairly distanced.
They spoke during a tour of Muranga School for the hearing impaired. Yusufar, Channel 1 News.
Now, a 42-year-old man has allegedly torched himself and his 2 children aged 4 and 13 years in Tome village, Laikipia Central. Joseph Mboro is said to have quarreled with his wife before setting the house ablaze. His wife, who managed to escape, sustained severe burns and is currently receiving treatment at the Nanyuki Teaching and Referral Hospital.
Tigidi Chief Wilson Thu says the 2 girls aged 4 and 13 years were burnt beyond recognition after efforts to put out the fire proved futile.
Kakuta watoto wawili wameugua na kuangalia chini nikaona chini ya kitanda hata bwana ameugua, mzee wa huyo nyumba. So kuulizia nikasikia ni petroli alimwaga kwa nyumba juu ya domestic issues.
Joseph Mboro and his wife are alleged to have engaged in a heated argument before the scuffle turned deadly. Neighbors say the incident came as a shock to them as they did not anticipate an incident of such magnitude.
Kaniambia bwana yake alikuja nyumbani akiwa amekasirika na hakuwa anajua amekasirishwa na nini. Na yeye aliwapikia chakula na wakapea chakula na wakakula. Lakini after some few minutes alitoka nje kama mwenye ameenda haja. Rudi na petroli ikiwa kwa kibuyu na akamwaga kwa nyumba yote, kwa table room. Na akawakisha nyumba, akawakisha kiberiti na akarudi akasimama kwa mlango. Ndio wazuie bibi yake asitoke. Na watoto walikuwa bedroom yake. Na akatoka nje. Toka nje vile alikuwa amechomeka sana, alikimbia kwa jirani. Hakurudi nyuma kuangalia watoto.
Tulisikia duru, tukakuja na tukakuta moto, na mimi nikauliza mwenyewe yako wapi, na nikaambiwa mahali yako, na nikaenda. Wakati nilienda nilikuta kama amechomeka.
Tigidi Chief Wilson Thu, in urging residents to resolve their differences amicably, decried rising cases of familicide in the country.
Hii maneno ya mgogoro ya nyumbani, tujaribu tutatue. Hakuna haja ya kuwa ati itakuja ilete kifo, of which mtu hata anaweza enda zake awache mwingine badala ya kuuana.
Tunaambia raia ni vizuri kuongea, watu wasifishe maneno.
sababu wangesaidika. Hasa tunajua familia zimekuwa na mashinda mingi sana, watu wao wanaongea maneno ya nyumba, watu wanaweza kutatua.
Nauliza, hata kama mnakosana ongeeni, hata kama amwezi ongea iteni mtu, iko wa mama, iko wazee karibu, muongee, kwa sababu sasa tumeluzi kijana ya area hii yetu, tumeluzi watoto.
The incident comes just days after a middle-aged man allegedly murdered 4 members of his family and a mason in Campbell County. Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Jackie Wambiru.
Indeed, deeply harrowing. Meanwhile, the government has moved to boost access to reproductive health care following the unveiling of a multi-sectoral team to coordinate the implementation of reproductive, maternal, child and adolescent health. This comes as access to reproductive health care remains a challenge, with some of the barriers identified as proximity to health facilities, high costs and social cultural beliefs and practices. Beatrice Gatonye with the details. We'll bring that story when it is ready, but for now we shall talk about the Constitution, where the tenure of office of the Deputy Chief Justice is said to be defined in law if the Constitution review being sought by the Building Bridges initiative is adopted. The Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020 proposes to harmonize the tenure of the Chief Justice and Deputy Chief Justice. Kevin Washira looks at the import of the amendment in our daily segment on the proposed constitutional changes.
In 2015, the country was treated to judicial drama when the then Deputy Chief Justice Kalpana Rawal refused to retire after attaining the age of 70 years. Justice Rawal unsuccessfully petitioned to remain in office until the age of 74 years, as provided in the old constitution, under which she was first appointed a judge. The current constitution is silent on the retirement age of a Deputy Chief Justice. The proposed constitutional review seeks to deter a repeat of such judicial drama by amending Article 167 of the Constitution on tenure of office of the Chief Justice. Clause 40 of the bill harmonizes the tenure of Deputy Chief Justice with that of the Chief Justice, which is 70 years. According to the Constitution, the Chief Justice shall hold office for a maximum of 10 years or until retirement. If the Chief Justice term of office expires before the Chief Justice retires, the Chief Justice may continue in office as a judge of the Supreme Court. Kevin Washira, Channel 1 News.
Indeed, moving on, the government has put on notice politicians fueling violence into Kana East and Tiati constituency, warning that those found culpable shall face the full force of the law. Rift Valley Regional Coordinator George Natembea says preliminary investigations have established that some elected leaders are mobilizing their communities to take up arms against their neighbors. Details of this and other stories in the County News Roundup.
Rift Valley Regional Coordinator George Natembea says high-level security teams have been deployed along the Baringo and Turkana border to restore calm following the killing of a 75-year-old man in the region. Natembea expressed concern that efforts to find lasting peace in the region are being frustrated by political supremacy battles between politicians in the region.
There's no security officer who's going to fight on your side. You can go and talk and talk and talk and cry, will not do it. We will not do it, and we are going to assess situations as they come. We are not going to be manipulated. Yeah? So you cannot be shouting loudest without even condemning your own people who went to carry out the stealing, because they're not stolen yesterday. We won't even be having this issue. But nobody's condemning that act of theft. No, they're just talking about the aftermath of the theft.
In Kisii County, the Nyamache Sub-County Hospital has received a donation of ICU equipment worth 1.5 million shillings, courtesy of gaming company Mozartbet.
There is no need to centralize service at the big towns.
we need to take services closer to people. So if we have NPU here, it will go a long way, making sure that all patients should not be referred to, only the critical.
The equipment is expected to supplement ongoing efforts aimed at improving healthcare services in the county.
2, 1, please.
Elsewhere, the Nyeri County government has engaged 200 youths in a one-year internship program in a bid to improve employability in the region. Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga urged the youth to harness the potential and do not be deterred by failure.
We want to walk this journey with you, mold you. We have shown you success stories. It is upon you now to go and convince that department that you are able, you are capable, and you have learned.
Still in Nyeri County, residents of Zdaivi village in Mathira West have held a peaceful demonstration against the drunkenness of the area assistant chief.
Ukiwa nataka usaidizi fulani lazima akuitishe pesa. Hii vijana wakitaka kuchukua ID anawaitisha pesa. Kwani hao watoto wanatoa pesa wapi?
The residents claim the chief drunkenness has led to bad governance and misappropriation of public funds in the area. Finally, a requiem mass has been held for Anne Wanjiku Njoroge, the woman who was allegedly killed by her son in Kiambu County. Anne Wanjiku has been eulogized as a dedicated caregiver who will be dearly missed.
We pray for the family. You know, there are 3 children of hers that have been left without a mother, without a father. One of them is in custody. We pray for him. He doesn't know what he did. Maybe he was sick. Let us pray for him. Let us not blame him. And ensure always we check on those children so that we can ensure that they are doing well.
Anne Wanjiku was among the 5 people killed a week ago in Kiambu County. For Channel 1 News, I'm Jacqueline Masharia.
Now, ODM leader Raila Odinga has reiterated calls for a united Kenya, claiming Kenya is yet to heal from wounds of tribalism years after independence. Odinga, who spoke when he met Kikuyu elders and traders in Nairobi, claimed Kenyans have an opportunity to choose leadership through the Building Bridges initiative. Odinga said good leadership will change the current ills and ensure cohesion in Kenya's multi-ethnic society.
Odinga's term offensive in Mount Kenya was in full display on Thursday when he met a section of elders and business leaders drawn from the region. The Orange Democratic Movement party leader urging the nation to avoid politics of deceit and vet leaders before endorsing them.
Hatutaki kueneza chuki, nataka kuhubiri amani, upendo katika taifa letu la Kenya.
Raila said Kenyans must free themselves from the yoke of tribalism and pursue unity of purpose.
Tuweze kufika huko ikiwa kama sisi tutaambia watu wetu ati mkokoteni peke yake, ati wheelbarrow peke yake. Wengine wanapiga kelele ati wheelbarrow. Yeye kama mtu ambaye amepombazwa haelewi ati kwamba anadanganywa. Unadanganywa na wewe unadanganywa. Ukweli ni kwamba sisi tunataka kuona kama Wakenya marudi pamoja, muungana pamoja. Hatutaki muungano ya Wakikuyu au ya Wajaluo au ya Waluhya au ya Wakamba au ya Kalenjin au ya Mijikenda. Nataka muungano ya Wakenya.
Meanwhile, the United Democratic Party chairperson Johnston Muthama has exuded confidence that the party will clinch the Machakos senatorial seat. Muthama, a former political ally of Kalonzo Musyoka, says the battle lines have been drawn and the outcomes in the mini-poll may reshape Ukambani politics.
When you have a party that is divided, it is difficult to field a candidate in an election or by-election because you don't know where the candidate will be nominated from, either from Tangatanga or from Kelewek. So we are participating in the election, and personally, Senator Muthama, the chairman of UDA, I'm going to lead the campaigns in Machakos, and nothing short of victory will be expected.
Muthama spoke a day after Wiper Party nominated Agnes Kavindu for the senatorial seat.
Me, and I want to state it, is Kalonzo versus Muthama. It's as simple as that. You see a repeat of what happened in Msambweni in Machakos.
Meanwhile, Machakos Governor Alfred Mutua has thrown his weight behind calls for a rotational presidency.
Mimi zingine zimetawala na tumetawala vizuri. Wacha waachie wengine waendelee kutawala
ndio Kenya kila mtu ajisikie yuko ndani ya serikali.
Elsewhere, a section of leaders from Narok County have urged devolution PS Charles Sonkuli to shelve his 2022 gubernatorial ambitions in support of his brother Andrew Sonkuli. In Nyeri County, the working relationship between Governor Mutahi Kahiga and Deputy Caroline Wanjiru Karugu appears to have encountered headwinds. Governor Kahiga has accused the Deputy Governor of absconding duties. For Channel 1 News, I'm Gladys Mongai.
Well, here on Business Insight, we want to take a quick break. But remember, you can always keep in touch with us at any time on our social media platforms at www.kbc.co.ke, at KBC Channel 1, and my personal handle is Aoko_76 on Twitter and elsewhere. Be sure to interact with us. But for now, let's take that short break.
Enda pale kwa Palume. Wakenya. Kari ndio hii. Oh, sorry, kifungu ndio hii kari. Ni furaha ile niko nayo. Msichali kete. Wacha tupeane mali ya wenyewe.
Ni vizuri tupe watu vitu zao.
Uchukue mali yako. Uchukue mali yako. Hiyo ndio shamra.
Hiyo ndio shamra ya quick bid.
Umeona? Umeamini?
Nimeamini kabisa.
Hii inaitwa nini?
Hii inaitwa kifungu.
Na hii inaitwa nini?
Toyota Probox.
Toyota Pro. Mpatie kifungu hiyo original.
Shika ingine. Ndio ya kuendesha.
Onesha.
Na wewe unaitwa nani? Naitwa Steven. Steven nani? Kahuho. Nakwambia. Uliwekelea bid ya ngapi brother? 1772 peke yake. We. Na ndio amejishindia Probox. Sasa hii Probox inakusaidia aje? Itakuwa nisaidia kazi yangu ya kuuza matunda. Unaambia je watu wa kwenye nyumbani ambao watakuona na hii? Wote wacheze na quick bid. Ukweli. Ni ukweli. Kabisa. Sasa tufanyie vizuri. Ingia upate mizigo yako bana. Ingia utoshee ukae usikie. Inakutosha sawa? Sisi tulikwambia ni aje? Bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini. Bidhaa bora kwenye bei ya chini.
Jiunga na Quick Bid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16. Kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio ununua. Quick Bid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
On the next episode of Ashoka,
we must know every detail of our enemy, his strengths and also his weaknesses.
She must have died long before the accident took place. It is possible that someone may have killed her.
Look for her. She'll be somewhere around.
You should leave for Takshashila, so that Bindusar's faith in you is intact. Just the thought of you going to Takshashila has made him very happy.
Grandmother, you're telling me...
Sushim already arranged a place for you, where you will be staying.
On this ordinary day, something extraordinary is about to happen.
Come on. Don't worry. I'll take care of you. Promise me you can keep a secret. I'll not breathe a word.
Percy, Angus. What are you doing in there? Did you hear something?
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Wiki hii kwenye Mkulima tutaangazia upanzi wa mimea mbalimbali
Natumia teknolojia because mimi si mkulima ule wa kawaida. Nilikuwa ninaishi pale Nyahururu. Mama yangu alilima kama watu wa kitambo. Na nikaona hiyo either inavunja mgongo, inapata akona changamoto mingi sana. Lakini mimi ninataka kulima kama biashara.
Kisha tukuze pojo katika maeneo kame.
Dengu zinaweza fanya vizuri hata ukiwa na mvua kidogo ya 300 millimeter per season. Actually unaweza ukakosa kitu ya kuvuna wakati unakosa kuvuna mahindi ama hiyo mimea mingine.
Basi usikose kujiunga nasi Jumapili saa 9:30 hapa KBC Channel 1 kwa mseto kamili wa kilimo.
Indeed, welcome back. If you are joining us right now, this is a Business Insight and we are glad that you are watching. Now we move into something that may pinch your pocket just a little bit. The Energy and Petroleum Authority has increased fuel prices effective from midnight. A litre of super petrol increases by 17 cents. Diesel is up 4 shillings and 57 cents, while kerosene is costlier by 3 shillings and 56 cents. IPRA attributes the latest increase to higher landed cost of refined imported petroleum products as well as a weaker shilling. New January statistics from the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority indicates that the average landed cost of imported super petrol increased by 1.51%, while diesel increased by 13.05%, as kerosene increasing by 9.27%. In addition, the shilling weakened 14 basis points to the dollar to 110.52, slightly impacting the overall price of fuel. This pushed pump prices with a litre of super petrol increasing by 17 cents, diesel is up 4 shillings and 57 cents, while kerosene increases by 3 shillings and 56 cents. Fuel will be cheapest in Mombasa, where a litre of petrol will retail at 104 shillings and 60 cents, while diesel at 94 shillings and 1 cent, as kerosene sells at 84 shillings and 75 cents. In Nairobi, a litre of super petrol increases to 106 shillings and 99 cents, diesel increases to 96 shillings and 40 cents, while kerosene will sell at 87 shillings and 12 cents. Fuel will be most expensive in Mandera, where a litre of super petrol will retail at 120 shillings and 3 cents. Diesel sells at 109 shillings and 44 cents, while kerosene will cost 100 shillings and 17 cents. Allan, Aoko, Channel 1 Business. Meanwhile, 8 counties in the North Rift Economic Bloc plan to create a unified online platform that will offer a number of services, including disbursement of business licenses. Uasin Gishu Governor Jackson Mandago says the online platform will reduce time taken by the investors to acquire relevant documents, further reducing the cost of doing business in the North Rift area.
Counties in the North Rift region plan to pull a fast by jointly unveiling a digital system that serves 8 devolved units. Counties under the North Rift Economic Plan to launch a single online platform that will offer, among other services, processing of business permits and operating licenses.
It is now possible for you to pay for your licenses at your premise, and we send you your license on email. So there is no need to come and queue.
Area leaders said the digital system will go a long way in synchronizing operations of the 8 counties and improve efficiency in service delivery.
We are working round the clock to unify that licensing system so that you are not taxed double, triple, 4 times when you go to other counties.
The platform is also expected to reduce congestion at county offices as well as the cost of doing business in the North Rift region. Business owners are calling on the government to enhance railway services in the North Rift region.
That is a huge plus that can be to our Uasin Gishu County. Once we have the rail transport in place, number one, it will also ease the congestion of getting trailers every now and then. We already have the railway in place. We just need to start fast-tracking it and having it start work. So that can be a huge plus.
Meanwhile, if you are an adventure enthusiast, Paradise Lost in Kiambu County is a serene destination that is ideal for outdoor activities. The destination is characterized with historical features believed to date back to the Stone Age, waterfalls and indigenous trees. Tonight, we highlight the magical Paradise Lost in Kiambu County.
Paradise Lost is one of the limited destinations close to Kenya's capital and offers a myriad of attractions and activities for you, your friend, colleague, and family alike. The magical oasis in the middle of a coffee farm is situated in Kiambu County. It is a blend of hidden gem and beautiful landscape. Nevertheless, the old Stone Age caves, waterfalls, ziplining, and indigenous trees are seemingly the key attractions here. The caves are estimated to be 2.5 million years of age owing to the artifacts discovered from the caves.
I would like to go, well, not even once, but many times, because it is therapeutical, because we are going up there like a parachute, you are seeing the water, and you feel like it's like therapy.
Today is our first time we visit here, so we are just preparing to come once again, because we see a lot here and we enjoy it so much.
Hapo nilikuwa nafikiria niko Lake Victoria. The lake is, I don't know, it's the lake is so big, but very controlled.
Boat riding and fishing on this man-made lake are also encouraged activities.
Ni mahali unakaa unasikia kabisa kakopoa, tena maji pale nimeenjoy kwa boat. Kwa boat pale ni mahali ingine safi sana.
After you clear the gate, one is allowed to bring indoor or own picnic. You may bring your own food and stuff over here in spots. Besides the spots we have, we've kept the place so natural. We try as much as possible not to interfere with the natural vegetation. That's why sometimes last year, this place was voted to be perhaps the only place at one moment you could have a big population of burnt species.
Other activities include horse riding, bird watching, and camping. Irene Mchoma Odim, magical scenes in the county of Kiambu.
Elsewhere, the government is in the process of setting up 2 potato cold storage facilities in efforts to reduce post-harvest losses. The facilities are under construction in Meru and Nyandarua, as well as another one in Kisii to store bananas. National Micro and Small Enterprise Authority Board Chairman Charles Waithaka says the 100 million shillings facility in Meru will be ready for use in a month.
The 5 billion shillings potato sector is set to get a major boost after one of the 2 cold storage plants is set to be operationalized in a month's time. The 100 shillings facility in Madaraka in Meru County is expected to reduce potato post-harvest losses in the region that currently stands at 40%.
I think that within the framework of the Big Four agenda, this is a very strategic investment by the government to reduce the losses for the farmers, to assist in stabilizing the prices, and to form the foundation, like the chairman has mentioned, for value addition.
The National Micro and Small Enterprise Authority Board Chair Charles Waithaka says the facility will help stabilize potato prices and protect farmers from exploitative middlemen during the harvest seasons when the county experiences a potato glut that sees farmers sell their produce at a throwaway price.
Produce do not go to waste. Every time we have had glutton or excess harvest, we've lost a lot of potatoes. As we all know, potatoes are perishable.
The authority will also construct a potato processing plant in the area to increase potato value addition and boost farmers' earnings.
Phase 2 is now to move further and ensure that we invest in more advanced value addition with a market orientation in mind.
To open this place for value addition so that the farmers around this place will be provided with the right variety. We'll work with the Minister of Agriculture and the county government to provide the right varieties of potatoes that can even be outsourced by the KFC.
Late last year, President Uhuru Kenyatta commissioned the construction of a similar cold storage facility in Olkalau, Nyandarua County, worth 100 million shillings as part of the government's commitment to reduce post-harvest losses in the country, a venture that will also see a banana cold storage plant constructed in Kisii County. Benson Rioba reporting for Channel 1 Business.
Meanwhile, MultiChoice Kenya has unveiled a promotion that the firm says will cushion customers against the challenging economic times. MultiChoice Kenya Managing Director Nancy Matimu says DSTV customers will be upgraded to a second hire package when they pay for a package higher than their last active subscription, while GoTV customers will be upgraded to GoTV Max at a discounted rate.
From today, our DSTV customers, we're promising you that if you pay for your next level package, we are going to step you up on us. We're practically going to ensure that, for instance, if you're on the Access package today and you pay for family, we are going to step you up at our own cost onto DSTV Compact. All our GoTV Plus, Value and Light customers, we're giving you an opportunity to be able to upgrade to the very best of GoTV, to GoTV Max at a discount.
Now, as promised, the story on the hospitality industry. The hospitality industry lost more than 130 billion shillings in 2020, representing an erosion of 80% due to COVID-19 disruptions. Amid relaxed travel restrictions and the promise of a vaccine in the new year, what is in store for the hospitality industry? Now, earlier I talked to Mike Macharia, the CEO of the Kenya Association of Hoteliers and Caterers, on projections for 2021 and the likely trends. Now, this is how that conversation went. Today we have a very interesting conversation. Remember, the tourism sector was hardly hit by the COVID-19, especially in 2020. Given you look at losses of up to 80% in the sector, and looking at overall in terms of money, 130 billion just vanishing out of the sector. This is a sector that is also a great foreign exchange earner for this country. It is only fair that we look into it and try to debunk some of the issues that have plagued this industry, and to help us understand exactly what we are to do and how we can, safeguard for future risks such as this one, is the CEO of the Kenya Association of Hotel Keepers and Caterers, Mr. Mike Macharia. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Aoko. Yeah, good to be here.
Good to have you too in the program. So let us begin by, a softball by asking, what is the status of the hoteliers or hospitality industry in the country at this time?
The status of the industry is still not good. You remember we started 2020 with a very big bang. We were projecting a growth of about 5 to 7% on 2019. So that would land us at probably around 2 million, 2-point-something million tourists with very high increased earnings. But obviously everything changed from March, and we shut down for almost 6-7 months. And the time we came to reopen, we still did not have enough customers to fill in the big void that had been left by the lockdown situation, so to speak. So here we are in 2021. We are still deep inside the pandemic, and we had expected, because at that time we were looking at other places, and mainly Wuhan in China, which was able to control the pandemic in about 4 months. So in everybody's mind, we were thinking that we'd be out of that situation in about 4 to 5 months. But now we are almost headed to a year, and still the situation is the same. So the industry has taken a big hit. People have lost jobs. We've lost, as you said, almost 130 billion shillings in earnings. The numbers are down 80%, with the exception of the few domestic tourists that we've seen, which is highly appreciated by the industry, because when we opened up, Kenyans really went out and visited places that they've never visited before.
Indeed. Well, your membership goes far and wide. You have a diverse portfolio of members. We did have reports even on our network where we've gone to the coast and we've seen some of your members decry the situation. There was early in the year a stimulus package for the industry that was brought forth. My question is, did your members receive this stimulus, and how did it trickle down, or did it not, or what is the plan with this stimulus package?
When we talk about stimulus, people seem to just target the 5 billion that was allocated under the Finance Act of 2020. But we want people to take a step back and recall what government did in the initial days of lockdown. So the immediate stimulus package that the government gave was, first of all, the reduction of the central bank rate and the cash reserve ratio, because this freed up a lot of money that was then available within the banks to restructure facilities that our members had taken. And that action alone freed up about 34 billion shillings. And that was utilized within the first 2 months of that action being taken. His Excellency the President announced a reduction of PAYE rates by 5%, which in effect meant that anybody who stayed employed got a 5% increase in salary in a pandemic year. The reduction of VAT by 2%, it meant that your consumption then reduced by 2%. So what was happening is that people had a bit more money, the ones who were still employed, and they were able to push their local economy by consuming more because the taxes were less. So the government did quite a lot. In fact, we have never seen government react to private sector requests in such a fashion. It was highly commendable. Then, of course, the 5 billion shillings that was brought into the Finance Act. And the 5 billion was easy. 2 billion is allocated to conservancies and national parks. And you remember even the rates, park fee rates went down, so it became easier to access parks. And then the other 3 billion would be allocated to the, let's call it the hospitality industry.
Some of which were for renovations.
Yeah, mainly for renovations at 5% interest rate with a grace period of 1 year. You don't get such deals even from banks. Particularly to do with the grace period. And at 5%, if it was a development loan, you'd have seen a lot of investors lining up. 5%, 1 year grace period, a super duper deal. So then the government came up with a criteria for accessing these funds. The first 1.5 billion shillings has already been released.
This will still apply to those who want to retrofit their establishments for COVID-19 restriction regulations, or that is not part of...
It is applicable because that was part of the pre-opening protocols. So, but the ones that are open are already compliant. But if they want to improve on the protocols, then they can still apply. So as long as they have a solid business plan, how they are going to spend the money, ability to pay, then they can apply. Yeah, they can apply. Because you remember there are some properties that closed down they took a strategic decision. Let's close down for now, wait it out, and then reopen later. So those ones might not have complied with the protocols yet, and they might need that assistance now.
Just for the benefit of some of our viewers, this allocation of these funds seem a bit complex. How far down the value chain does the money reach? Because we have, for example, a place like in Kilifi, for example, where we have small traders who rely on hotels.
Yes.
The tourists that come and stay there to come and buy their curios and their ornaments. And when you ask them, they say, oh, we're also relying on that very small stimulus that the hotels are having.
Yes.
How best can they tap into this benefit? Or do they have to be under an umbrella for them to benefit? Because some of them are individual traders. How do they get part of it?
The complexities that attach to accessing that money, remember, it's public money. It's your money. The government cannot just take public money and dish it out to people. There's got to be some form of criteria. And if it's a business criteria, then the government wants to see that, first of all, you're a good business person. Yeah, you pay your taxes, you pay your statutory payments, you're compliant with the law. So a good number of these people might not be able to easily access a tax compliance certificate because they probably are not registered for VAT, for example, and that registration process has some thresholds because the VAT registration, I think it's 5 million and above, otherwise your MSME. So those are the challenges that they face. When they look at the criteria, it seems to knock them out on certain technical areas. But all is not lost, because remember, a renovation trickles down. If a hotel is to undertake renovations, they're going to need a contractor, for example. They might need an architect to put out the drawings. They might need a quantity surveyor. They'll need an electricals contractor, and all these are attached to the same people that you buy the inputs from as a person who's renovating. So you'll find that maybe you need to buy screws or bulbs, or or you need to employ some fundis to do the work internally. The same guys of the curio shops will also benefit, because once you have a better product, you have more clients and they're directed to them. So they'll benefit indirectly. So if you look at the value of the 3 billion, for example, as a core value of renovation, you must look at the trickle down effect and the ripple effect of that 3 billion. And it could easily ripple out to even 6-7 billion into the same economy, because we'll still end up purchasing from our own local people. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Let's break it down. We've started from the pandemic. It has hit. The government has reacted. It has brought in recommendations for going back and getting back on your feet. You have the money. You've retrofitted everything. Now let's talk about how then you have everything, but the clients are not coming. How far have your members gone to put in innovation and trying to reinvent themselves and their products? Earlier you mentioned about hiking and cycling. We did see some members now bring that into their package, that if you come to a hotel, we have a very nice beautiful hillside near our premises.
Yes.
Take our bikes, take that as another package. How is this reinvention helping your members stay on their feet?
It's actually quite innovative. You've seen some of them have even taken their guest bedrooms and converted them into meeting spaces. We've seen a lot of hotels now utilizing the outdoors, while before, even in a country that is endowed with very good weather, would still tended to be indoors. So because of the pandemic, we are seeing a lot of people now utilizing their outdoors and setting up, functions, lunches, dinners in open spaces where they can be able to keep physical distance. We are seeing them being enforcers of the COVID protocols. A chef, for example, may not have been your typical enforcement officer of a protocol. It would probably be a security guard or a front desk staff or a manager. But you're finding that everybody is now sensitized. Going to supplementary products. If you take the coast alone, there are activities that used to be reserved purely for international visitors. And this was not by design. It was just that they were interested in those activities. An activity like snorkeling would not elicit so much local interest. I mean, it's me wearing goggles to look at fish. Some things we take for granted because we probably grew up around the lakes, around the rivers, and around the oceans, where something like viewing of a certain type of a fish is not really of interest to the locals. But now we are seeing them taking up snorkeling.
Mm-hmm. That's very interesting because now then it means that there's an emergence of new revenue streams that which you had not even planned for when you were making that strategic meeting 5 years ago.
Yes.
But then now you're seeing you're getting new revenue streams.
Absolutely.
That brings me to the question of source markets.
Yes.
If here in Kenya then we've sorted the issue of our hotels and our hospitality industry, they have the stimulus they need, they have reinvented as much as they could. Customers are starting to take notice and enjoying those new products. But in a situation where we now have our source markets having issues that directly or indirectly interfere with, let's say, the normal flow of our revenue streams. For example, we have elections in Uganda, which is a major source market of ours. How will that really affect the industry at this time as we are trying to just get on our feet at this point?
When we spoke to the UN World Trade Organization 2 years ago, they had undertaken a study. And that study, they were actually asking specific questions. And that study revealed that political instability is more worrying to the customer than even terrorism. They had actually put political instability as top, then terrorism, then disease. Yeah, where COVID comes. So COVID is actually number 3, if we're going to follow that. Maybe if we did another study now, because of the pandemic, they probably would interchange. But political instability anywhere affects tourism. So if there's political instability in Kenya, and we flagged this before, we flagged it after the violence of 2008, we flagged it in 2017 when we had the repeat elections, and we were very categorical that for the industry to thrive, we need a proper political environment. Now, if there's political instability in Uganda, it's bound to affect movement of people, both in and out. And obviously, Uganda is a key, not only market for tourists, it's also a key trading partner. There's a lot of people who live on the Kenyan side of the Busia border who go and trade and come back. From the time we started the movement by ID for Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda, we have seen an increase in trade, not only in tourism, but in general trade. So obviously, if the elections in Uganda don't go well, and we're having reports of violence and intimidation in certain areas, then it's bound to affect us. We are going to elections next year, and we also need to be careful about what messaging we are giving the public as politicians, because that generally would slow down the recovery.
My goodness, so as an investor, if I want to enter the hotel industry and I'm looking at Kenya, which is 2022, a heavily contested electioneering period, should I be afraid or just sit back and wait, or what should I do as an investor in the industry?
You should not be afraid, because your investment is not a one-year investment. You're not coming here for 2022 only. You're looking at the long term. And looking at our history with elections, Kenyan elections, we've always had elections. Even when we were under single party rule, we still were able to have general elections every 5 years or ever so regularly. So we have, as a country, we have experience with elections. As a country, we would like to imagine that we are past the worst now. Given the happenings of the 10 years between 2008 and 2017. We would like to imagine that we are now going to see more mature politicking as we move ahead. So as an investor, I don't think you should worry. You should be able to put out your investment, lay out your business plans, and continue, because it is up to us as a citizenry to take the politicians to account for their actions and anything that they might say. And we are slowly getting there, given the way the citizens have been reacting to certain situations in the political scene.
Mm-hmm. And perhaps as we wind up, besides the incentives, the fiscal incentives that the government can offer, how best or what more can the government do directly? For example, I don't know if you're curious about it or if you've actually traveled with Kenya Railways. They have this safari train, they call it, that they have from Nairobi to Nanyuki, which has also given your members a boost in the side of Nanyuki. What else can the government do to directly impact the industry during this time?
The SGR that we've all been talking about, once it gets to the border of Uganda, you'll see a lot of changes. So the government is doing a lot of stuff. In fact, infrastructure development. There's this new road from Isinya to Ngong. Through what's this place I'm forgetting, Matasia place, I'm forgetting the name. That alone can connect you to Western Kenya.
It's the alternative to Wayaki Way.
Yes, through Tanzania. You could be coming from the Namanga border, turn left there, and you have business. You get to the Suswa road that is now complete. And you're in Narok and the Rift Valley. You don't really have to use the Nairobi-Nakuru highway to get to Kisumu or get to Kakamega. Once you're in Kisumu, it's so easy to get to places like Bondo, to get to Rusinga, even by boat. To get to Kakamega now from Kondele is just about 20 minutes. You still get to Webuye, you can turn off and go towards the Kefinko estates there. There's a lot of infrastructure development going north from Murang'a up to past Karatina. There's a proposal of a new dual carriageway. So the government is playing its bit. But there are certain policies that the government is coming up with, and we are thinking some of these policies may well negate all the gains that have been made, and particularly during this time of the pandemic.
Well, there you have it. We've had insight from the hotel industry and how we can keep it going and how the industry's health is at this time. I, for one, am very excited, and I hope I will get that, you know, that safari train tour so that I also build and buy Kenya. And that's it from us here on KBC Channel 1. My name is Allan Aoko. We have been speaking to the CEO of the Kenya Association of Hoteliers and Caterers, Mr. Mike Masharia. Until next time, do have an enjoyable evening. Goodbye. Asante sana.
The Kenya Defence Forces KDF is pleased to announce to the public the recruitment of General Service Officer GSO cadets, General Service Officer GSO cadets, undergraduate degree holders, specialist officers, general duty recruits, tradesmen and women, and Defence Forces constables, which is scheduled to take place in the month of February 2021. Remember, no one can influence the recruitment process. KDF recruitment is absolutely free to all. For more information, tune in to Radio Taifa on the 29th of January 2021, just immediately after the 7 p.m. news. Check out the local dailies. The Standard newspaper on the 15th and the 31st of January 2021. MyGov inside the Star newspaper on the 12th of January 2021 and 22nd of January 2021. And the People's Daily on the 26th of January and the 5th of February.
Next on.
Wajoi, habari ya baba Shiko. Imagine kama anatuma brother yangu mkubwa anamtuma kwa duka ende maziwa na mkate. Unajisikia wewe?
Do you think we should go mediate? And say what? I don't know, you just talk then I'll second you.
Hiyo 200 ndio nimetumia kulipia duthi. Mpaka sasa ningekuwa nimepotea. Pesa ya bwanangu.
So can I talk to you for? Glenn, we were in the middle of something.
Nakumbuka. Cheza kiwewe. Tacheza kimimi. Tacheza kimimi. Tacheza kimimi.
Kamau, I will not beg you for information, but I promise you, we'll wait by your phone and I'll never call you back for your job. Let's go for that.
Just.
Get ready for a 3 weeks Africa Football Feast as the new year kicks off with the 6th edition of the Africa Nations Championship in Cameroon. From the 16th of January to the 7th of February 2021, 16 teams from the continent will be spread across 3 cities as the best players from domestic leagues showcase their talents live on KBC Channel 1. Let's support our own.
Jumapili hii kwenye runinga ya KBC, ungana naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu kuanzia saa 1 hadi saa 2 asubuhi.
Ningetaka nikwambie, our Jehovah God, because the Bible says he is the same yesterday, today and forevermore. He is able to take you to a place of abundance. He is able to take you to Rehoboth in the name of Jesus Christ.
Kipindi ni neno la neema